Now for the Aries rising people, obviously with Saturn ruling the 10th house of career and going into the Lagna in degradation is surely a watch out placement, because here your stature, your designation, your standing in society, your respect all may come down because of something wrong that you do, or wrong decision that you take, or maybe a wrong trajectory that you take in your career. So at least in the initial years of your career, this is surely a watch out placement, as the 10th lord of career as well as the 11th lord of wishes and desires is going into the Lagna itself in degradation. Secondly, Saturn still being the 10th lord going into the 3rd house of effort and going away 6 places from itself surely will mean that you will have to put in harder effort. This is not a troublesome placement, however, this is at least a placement where later on in your life, many of you may think about starting your own ventures. There may be breaks in career. However, with the number of people I have seen that after their 30s, late 30s, many of them start something of their own, maybe even business or maybe social media platforms. Surely this is a placement to go at your own later stage in life rather than early. Then Mars being the Lagna lord, also the 8th lord going in degradation in the 4th house and aspecting your 10th house surely can be a challenging placement where domestic issues or how you don't take care of your domestic issues at home can create unnecessary issues because of the bad environment at home, and career may also get affected. So this is surely a watch out placement, a slightly serious one, because it's the Lagna lord which is going into degradation in the 4th house of assets and aspecting your 10th house of career. Then the 10th lord Saturn going into the 5th house. Now this is, while on paper this is a good placement because one Kendra lord is going into another trine house, it's a Raja Yoga placement surely. But what this does is, this sometimes delays the rise of people or growth of people. It's not a bad placement, but it may give you a slow rise, especially because Saturn rules the 10th house and has placed 8 houses away from itself in the 5th house of change in career. So many times change in career may be delayed because of you not having enough energy to be able to push for change. And then obviously Venus ruling the 2nd house of income and livelihood and going into the 6th house in this degradation, where it's also the 7th lord of teamwork, partnership, working with others, and going into the 6th house of service. So surely this can be a slightly challenging placement for people, especially where you're pushing for income or pushing for livelihood when you're working in a team environment. Then Jupiter ruling the 9th house of gains as well as the 12th house, especially of foreign lands, foreign companies, MNCs, as well as waste and excess, and going into the 10th house and its degradation. So gains from career may be slowed down and sometimes you may not take wise decision. And then carrying on with the 10th lord Saturn going 12th house from itself into the 9th house. Again, this is actually a Raja Yoga placement. However, this means that many times you may not be able to derive the maximum benefits from your education, because the 9th house is the house of education and the 10th lord Saturn has gone into the 9th house. So it is giving stagnated results from education, or you may not be able to get the maximum results from your education. So many times I see with these people, they start off their career in the line of the education qualification, but later on in life they may do something which is very, very different and not directly linked to the education qualification as well.